Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a look at All Hell Breaks Loose 10, which was held in Melbourne at the end of last month. I'd just like to say a quick thank you to two of my best friends, Jamie and Kim, for joining me at this convention, as well as Catherine and Millie and anyone else I ran into and chatted with. You guys helped take this weekend to a whole new level. We had a lot of really amazing guests at this convention and I'm just going to quickly rattle them off for you. So we start with Jared and Jensen, and then we had Julian Richings, Matt Cohen, Ruth Connell, Richard Spate Jr., Rachel Miner, Rob Benedict, Jason Mans, and Hannah and Hilly Hindi from the Hillywood Show. So first I'm just going to quickly go over what I'm sure was everyone's least favourite part of the day, and that was just how late we ended up running. Now I do know that there was some serious health concerns within the Hub production team, so I'm sure that had some impact on how things were running. But unfortunately, I think it was all compounded by the fact that communication with us and sometimes within the team was just not that fantastic from where I was standing. For both days of the weekend, we were in the standard seating section. And in this particular theatre, I have absolutely no problem with what seat I get allocated because I love the whole thing. So the beginning of the general program starts with everyone entering the theatre, where some instructions are given and then they start calling the photo ops, starting with the upper tiers and working their way back. Watching the episodes on the big screen is still one of my favourite ways to watch the show. And this is just me being nitpicky, but I was a little confused by some of the choices they made because some of them were very plot heavy and not standalone at all. And I just think for the ease of watching random episodes, the standalones just make a lot of sense. And let's be honest, no one's going to complain about seeing Baby or Scooby Natural on the big screen every year. They also showed Mama Bear, which is the collaborative project that Matt Cohen directed. I do wish they'd have introduced it though, because my friends and I were looking at each other going, did we miss something? Is this an episode we don't know about? And we're halfway through before we figured out what it was. Thankfully, we got to see it again in full on Sunday, knowing what it was and getting to appreciate it straight away. Watching it up like that with the surround sound was a really amazing way to see it, but I found myself chuckling at bits I don't think you're supposed to, but it wouldn't be the first time that gory special effects have had that effect on me. They started the session with some of the Jared and Jensen photo ops, and as I didn't have one of those that day, it did take quite a while for me to get called out for my first turn, which was with Julian Richings. So as it turned out, my other two photos for the day, which were with Loudon Swain and Jason Mans, weren't until some of the last that were shot, but we were never informed of the order that they had in mind. So we had to just wait like you normally do, which is normally fine, but because they were running so late, we just had to sit there and essentially miss out on all of our chances to go to lunch because we were never quite game enough to run away in case we got called and were never there. One of the repercussions of them running so late was that they cut the lunch break from the schedule completely, and because we'd had late photos, they basically ran straight into the panels, which meant we missed out on the Hillywood panel and some of the panel after. And it also meant that we got a bit less time with people on stage in general, because they also condensed down two of the panels, which was the Ruth and Rachel and the Matt and Rich. It did result in a very interesting pairing with the four of them on stage at the same time, but it just meant we got a little bit less time with everybody. Last up for the day was the Jared and Jensen panel, and as you would expect, they did not disappoint. And as has become tradition, at the end of their panel, they auction the shirts off their backs, which is not quite as weird as it sounds. They're given black textures and white t-shirts to draw on, and then they put them on basically to model them, and there's an auction held. And on this particular day, it was an amazing and mind-boggling result, with the two shirts going for a combined total of $10,000. After the guys panel, the autograph process started, and the same as last year, you were called up section by section, but once you got upstairs, you were split into a Jared and Jensen line and an everyone else line, because the guys were signing in a separate room, and I'm assuming that's just for logistic reasons. Once we had all our autographs, we were free to wander around and poke off. Now, my friends and I had decided to only attend one of the post-main convention nighttime events, and Saturday was the Loud and Swain concert. To open the concert, Rob sang a solo acoustic song, and then Jason sang solo. And coming out to introduce the band, Jensen stayed out to sing SOB. Also joining the band at different points, Matt sang Joker and the Thief, Ruth crushed Bang Bang by Cher, and Richard sang and played guitar for Copperhead Road. And this was all topped off by some amazing Loud and Swain songs, including the new acoustic cover of Amazing. Now, if you were there and you happened to hear some nutter screaming out "so captivated" after that line in the second verse, then that was me. And you can thank and blame some of my American friends that I met at the Vancouver convention last year who are die-hard Loud and Swain fans. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, YouTube will hold a lot of answers for you. Basically, it's a crowd participation thing that the band started a long time ago. So with all that over, I was tired, wired, and had that odd but strangely satisfying concert ear thing happening. But there was nothing left to do but go back to our rooms and get ready to do it all again tomorrow. Now, if you only got to attend Saturday, I'm kind of sorry for saying this, but I think Sunday was better. Everything just seemed that little more relaxed, and we only ran the standard amount of late that you would expect. Sunday was also my Jared and Jensen photo op day, and I always manage to forget just how quick that moment goes. I do maybe regret a little in hindsight. I thought I was getting better value getting the two of them together because that can be a very expensive way to buy a ticket. But if you split it, you actually get that same amount of time twice. So it's hard to tell which way you should go. That day I also got a photo with the Hillywood sisters, and I think they are just the cutest ever. With those done, we got to go to lunch, and we had time today for a sit-down, dine-in meal. It could have been that I was more relaxed, but I thought the panels were better too. And I got lucky enough and brave enough to ask Matt and Rich a question about something that has stuck with them from all the times they've attended fan conventions. It's a question I thought of a while ago, and I'm sure it still came out shaky. And I'm going to have to watch the video back when I get the official DVD, because as he was answering my question, Richard kept looking back at me, and eventually my brain just stopped working. After another amazing panel with Jared and Jensen, and getting the last of our autographs, it was the end of the convention for my friends and I. But it did take us quite a while to walk around saying goodbye to everybody, and making dinner plans with the ones that we weren't ready to say goodbye to yet. So for our last section, I have some photos of the vendors' room, and I asked permission from every vendor before I took a photo of their booths. And as well as tagging the photo so you know who's who, I'm going to link down below everything I could find on everybody that I've listed. I just have to say here that Hilly and Hannah are the sweetest, most gorgeous and tiny ladies. They were at their booth all weekend, as long as they weren't needed elsewhere, and I watched them give each person their moment of undivided attention. And even right till the end, they never seemed to run out of positive energy. And I couldn't not smile every time I heard them. I thought they were cool every time I'd seen them, but I left this convention a real fan of theirs. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. What has been your most memorable convention moment? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.